We spoke with some of the attorneys for some of those students who said they did not attend the hearing today in fear of their safety. Law enforcement has been stepped up on the campus and plans to remain in place. Out by the storm surge. Here at the Yucatan Waterfront Restaurant, a place meant for food and fun is now focused on the evacuation. As many residents try to leave the island, the U.S. Coast Guard. That event today at Cafe Joshua is the last chance before Monday's deadline to register to vote. Yeah, the Alachua County Sheriff's Office and campus police have both cleared the scene. Operations at the University of Florida have returned to normal. As you can see, students are walking past me, buses are running, the bells are ringing. They have replaced the fire alarms that were here earlier. County officials are currently taking appraisals for the movement of that home from its current location. I'm told that it'll be here in Bellevue by the end of March. The new law will allow people in Florida to carry a concealed weapon without any permit requirement at all. It's a part of a nearly 106-page bill labeled House Bill 543, but the debate starts with what to call it. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis just wrapped up his State of the State speech just a little while ago, and it's a speech that many political experts call the biggest of his career. Gainesville serves as the headquarters for North Florida. And the extent of that network stretches from big tech companies all the way to local police departments. For example, a social media giant like Facebook receives a report about an image on its platform. It would then send that tip to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They then look into the case to see where the individual or group might reside. And if the crime does occur in North Florida, the contact is the ICAC headquarters at GPD. Investigators like Christopher King then determine the proper county and contact the specific department to assign them the case. Cases like the one of Jalen Kitna. While experts consider Val Demings to be an ideal candidate for the Democratic Party in the state of Florida, they also say that Marco Rubio is the perfect candidate for Republicans in the state. For Democrats to be successful this election, analysts say they need to dominate South Florida and take a large percentage of the Hispanic voting bloc. Marco Rubio fits into both. A 4-page affidavit was released earlier this morning by the Brevard County Sheriff's Office, breaking down the sequence of events from the early morning hours of Wednesday, March 1st. It starts at the time a Ring camera picked up the suspect's car to the moment the father of the victim and the prime suspect was picked up by law enforcement. Things are wrapping up here at the Capitol building for day one of the legislative session, and the general consensus on both sides of the aisle is that Governor Ron DeSantis is going to get just about everything he wants this cycle. Chris Murphy lives for the water. The Gainesville native unloads his boat, starts the engine, and heads out for the day.
We're getting ready to go on the lake and do some wake surfing. That's what we pretty much do non-stop.
But this isn't one of those typical days.
We can take one more if somebody wants to go.
On this day, he's going out for something else. Unfamiliar scenery, hundreds of miles from home. He's helping Hurricane Ian survivors.
Everything's pretty much decimated from what we understand, and so we're going to hope to go out there and pick some people up and bring them back and help them get back to food, shelter.
Murphy, along with his daughter and her husband, made the trip from North Central Florida to help those impacted by the storm.
Caught an hour or two of sleep in the Publix parking lot, and now we're at it.
The destination is Pine Island. Residents of the small farming island have been without power and water since the start of the storm.
I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here in the dark for 2 days.
Dinger is one of thousands. All the residents on the island have been cut off from the mainland after the roads and bridges were washed out by the storm surge. Here at the Yucatan Waterfront Restaurant, a place meant for food and fun is now focused on the evacuation. As many residents try to leave the island, the U.S. Coast Guard and other first responders from across the state have turned their resources to the region to help any way they can.
The community comes together in every natural disaster we have. We have the strongest knit community around anywhere. When Katrina happened over there in New Orleans, we sent 50 crews, trucks, boats over there to help them, and they're paying us back the same way. I've seen people from Mississippi, Louisiana.
Even Dinger, who's been impacted by the storm, has taken to the roads to make them safe for travel. Despite that, he still feels lost.
You know, I just don't know where to get, what to do. I'm willing to lend a hand if I knew who to lend it to.
Joining the many hands, mobilizing to help those impacted by the storm, including Murphy.
Knowing that we had the resources to do something, we just decided to come down and work the weekend to help some people out.
And as his boat cuts through the water, Murphy and his family are helping the people of Southwest Florida one ride at a time. On Pine Island, Chris Will, WUFT News. The teddy bear is a simple thing, colorful and cuddly, soft and sweet. An innocent toy with so many playful memories.
He took Chevy everywhere.
Memories that last forever.
That was his best friend.
The best friend of Megan Bishop's 4-year-old son, Taylor.
Taylor was an old soul. I say it all the time. Way wise beyond his years. And he had the funniest jokes and just so vivacious. And I miss him so much. So
I'm finally doing it!
Nearly 2 years ago was the last time Megan saw Taylor hold Chevy.
they always say the first of everything is hard, but when you lose a child, there's so many firsts. His first day of kindergarten was well after the 1-year mark. I'll miss his first t-ball game, his first soccer game. I'll miss his first high school dance. There's still so many firsts that I won't get to see. And that's hard.
A plane crashed into Megan and Taylor's car just outside North Perry Airport.
And while he was in the car, this is the actual bear that he had. There we go. I don't break this bear out very often. So this is Chevy.
Chevy, a blue Hot Wheels 50-year anniversary Build-A-Bear, was recovered from the accident and returned to Megan's arms.
And after the accident and I had Chevy back, I knew I wanted to do something to make sure that Taylor's legacy would live as long as he was supposed to live. And I knew I wanted it to involve bears because of Chevy.
Megan created a nonprofit that gets stuffed animals to first responders. The goal is to provide children with a little bit of Taylor. And now, Taylor's Teddy Bears has made its way to Gainesville.
Taylor is more than just a boy who passed away in a plane crash. He deserves to be more than that. And so I just wanted the UF community to be involved in that.
A bin is set up in the HPNP building at the University of Florida for people to drop off their cuddly friends. Cuddly friends that encapsulate the boy Taylor was and the legacy he represents.
Just that I love him and I miss him. I tell people all the time that the accident seems like yesterday, but it feels like I've lived 100 lifetimes since I got to hold him. And so I just hope I'm making him proud.